provided that, yeah.
But I don't know that.
So you knew they
No,
were,
they came with
ask
it.
everybody?
No, they came with it.
I don't know that they do anything. They did come with it, but I don't. Yeah.
Whether they, I don't know if they do anything or not.
I don't think
The red light's pretty.
Yeah. They're lit up, I mean, there should be two of them, no?
Yeah, there's no one down there.
Oh, okay.
because if I'm gonna just stumble through it. Yeah. Thank you.
When was that bear? How long ago was that?
I've never seen them this tiny.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The bear, when was that?
And Arthur
The other
has
night.
butterflies, that's why I said my
I
butterfly
love
went
those
flying,
things.
because I went to undo it, and went beep.
What beers?
No, these.
Oh,
Did you know it was out there, or you just happened to look at the ring and saw it?
No.
You know,
Yeah.
he was sitting on his front stoop.
Yeah.
They were sitting in one
He says, all right, I'll talk to you tomorrow. I thought about it, I'm like,
outside, and he said I was too scared to jump up because it was so close. Walked right by him. He said, Art, like,
wow.
I said, there must have been some moment.
Yeah.
I said, I was scared.
So I got a bobcat, and even a baby in it. On my property, I get pictures of it all the time. I see it, like, all the time. So the other day I'm out, this is a funny picture. Here it is. And this is my deer pants out. He's walking. Oh, Mother Nature, this is beautiful. And I'm like, where am I gonna go?
Yeah, right, where?
What am I gonna do if he, what am I gonna do?
That's quite a picture.
The bobcat walked right by me.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a pretty nice bobcat, too.
He's good.
The house?
Yeah.
Right here? Nope.
I'm from the camera, looks like it could be.
It looks a little larger because he's closer to the camera than me.
Yeah.
What time is it for?
1 in the afternoon?
Hey, Brian.
Hey, good evening.
Sounds like
He's rushing away. Welcome to the October 10th Pawling Joint Sewer Commission meeting. If you could please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the republic for one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Motion to approve November meeting presented.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And can I get a motion to approve the September treasurer's report as presented?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, I make a motion to approve the September vouchers as presented and the prepaid vouchers, $1,009 and favor say aye.
Aye.
I'll make the motion to transfer $94,943.63 from the O&M count to the checking September 2024 vouchers.
I'll second.
All
Aye.
and modifications, which are attached. So we're moving $700 from water line 101.5 to the administration line of 103.2.4. Moving $2,000 from the maintenance software line of 13043.1 to the administration 0342.4. $2,000 from line of 13042.5 to the administrative line 10342.4. Moving $1,097.14 from the equipment line of 81104.7, administration line of 104.2.4. Moving $71 continue line of A104, repairs and maintenance line of 13043.3, and moving $3,008.82 from the repair and maintenance line of 130.2 to the repairs and maintenance of pump station line 13043.3. Anybody have any questions regarding these modifications? Motion to approve the budget.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 We have 4.4. This is a fund balance policy, a draft.
Absolutely. So there's a of Jeff. Look at the page of the draft. I think this is actually 4.24.
Can you do me a favor and move that closer to you?
If we're all on the same last. Further flesh out what Jeff did give us a response, but I think maybe discussion can be had, is have a shortfall in the amount of unbalance. We're looking at percentages between 25% and 35%. So let's say 5%. You are able to take certain steps to get back to that percentage level within 1 to 3 years under this policy. If you want more specific actions or possibilities of actions that you can take to be listed, 3. That shortfall scenario, we could amend the section accordingly. Further say, what could we? What would be the more serious scenario? Perhaps we want to give just a little bit more thought to 3.2. If not, you can leave it open, and then you're able to come up with whatever plan is, that you legally can do, and to get back to your shortfall standards.
So it move on unless there's other. Move on unless there's other. Is there any more discussion regarding this?
Well, we're going to be talking about it more at the public,
Right.
public hearing.
Correct. So with that in mind, next item is the resolution to set the public hearing. Do you have any questions regarding that? So it's basically now they're resolved that the commission shall hold a public hearing at its regularly scheduled meeting on the 14th day of November 2024, 7 o'clock at the Village Hall, and that notice place and general fund balance policy shall be published in the Poughkeepsie Journal not less than 72 hours. questions regarding that? Can I, so then can I get a motion to this resolution?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Looks like for roll call.
It won't hurt.
Aye.
Commissioner Berlinger,
Aye.
Stephen,
Aye.
James is
Aye.
Commissioner Ocasio,
Aye.
Commissioner
Well, Harvey. Alternate.
yes. And alternate Colin Snow.
So Christine just kind of walk us through this scenario.
So I received a call on Tuesday from this attorney, Michael Tradick. And he was calling to find out, for closing purposes on a house, customer referred to as customer 20069. They were ready to close on this today, and he was calling to find out what, if anything, was owed on water and sewer. This account has been delinquent since 2020, and every year it is re-levied back to taxes. This past March 7th, we received a phone call from the listing agent who was listing the house for sale. The house had been abandoned, and she called to tell us that there was a and then, so it's actually, no, they just.
It doesn't go in the sewer, however, I have a little issue. It doesn't go in the sewer, however, I have a little issue to send the levy to the county. You know,
Is that what I'm,
On our end,
is that what,
to do an addition.
that reading really was for 500,000 gallons then?
I don't know, since it didn't,
I'm,
When we know the water didn't go in this, relieved of that charge. Normally,
$605.86 that we would be charging them, with a total adjustment amount of $1,789.22.
all right, so basically looking at, I guess, three options. One, the whole thing of the 8395 foreclosure, and the really, the homeowners nor the bank let us know. We had an incident on Charles Street where a perfectly beautiful home was completely ruined because in the winter, let us know, we go out there and turn the water off. And then it's safe for the winter, at least from that. Ideal to go through the winter with no heat in a house, but I wish there was some kind of mechanism, I don't know that there is any, that somehow put the bank ownership or realtor's hands or something to notify a municipality.
but they're responsible.
Is it fair to pick up the tool or whatever?
Yeah. So it's really the only wiggle room that we've ever been able to provide is at the sewer commission level, because if we know the circumstance and know the water did not go into the sewer, we can.
Have you ever done a certain percentage in the past that you could use as past
No,
practice?
it's never been this bad.
yeah, it was.
No, but in general, have you done 50%, 25%?
That's
You
what I
use the
want.
same percentage?
Cut it in half.
Yeah, split them.
Typically, we just,
That might be a new policy.
figure out what it is.
Well, do we know exactly where the water did go?
Normal buildings, and then we
I'm sorry.
Do we know where the water went?
Well, it's in the house somewhere, it went in the
Well,
basement.
did it, I mean, did it drain out the front door, or, I mean, we don't know.
But it didn't go in, it wasn't flushed down, it wasn't,
didn't go down the sink.
although if it broke and it was in the sink,
But
it's all gone down.
You don't know if it actually went into the
Yeah, we
septic
don't know
or
that.
flow plan or not.
I
We don't know that.
Yeah,
That's a good point, John. We do
Yeah,
not know where
I'm
that
not
water
inclined
went.
to jump on this. I think they should pay. We need the money.
Or is there a way to find out where this excess water
I don't
went?
think
Yeah,
there is at
but
this
even
point.
so, the bank
Happy to
should have
pay.
inspected the house. If it's in
The bank
foreclosure,
wasn't-
why is it our
It
responsibility?
wasn't foreclosure.
The homeowner.
Oh, okay.
The homeowner just abandoned the
Well,
house.
then that's their problem. I mean, again, that's my opinion.
It is your, it's a very valid point that you just made, John, is that we do not know where that water went.
Yeah,
So with that being said, maybe cut the penalty in half, not knowing, because we don't know if it went in the sewer or not.
You mean the bill?
I'm sorry, the bill.
oh, I mean, again, we don't know. I'm personally, I'm just not inclined to approve it.
Okay.
But again, it's a board here, we got various
Right.
members.
Right.
I appreciate
I-
your
you know,
candidness, though, you're
yeah.
right,
I mean, the fact that we do not know where that water went, it could have, theoretically, it could have all gone in the
Yeah,
sewer.
you should
We could have.
do know that.
He's
And
right.
we have
Most
an
emergency
I&I
bill,
problem, a
if-
huge one right now, we don't need more
Yeah,
water
a
in there.
softener or
Water in
an
the house.
expansion tank
We know
breaks,
it's
we know
in
it's in the
the- it's in the
basement.
basement.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But this could have
Yeah, right.
broke in the shower and it all went down the tub. Or whatever.
yeah, we don't know.
And I guess I was gonna just say, since they closed today, it's not a matter of holding off their closing
Yeah,
at this point.
Right.
That's
If,
interesting.
if the
that they
commission
closed
takes,
that.
takes some extra time to get some more questions asked, I mean, would it be helpful to just write back to the attorney to say that the commission needs a little bit more time to get some questions answered that we don't have the answers to?
So I spoke with title company, that's who's gonna be holding the money in escrows, and he told me that they're putting a limit to how long
How
they're
long
going
they
to
hold it.
it.
Yeah, I
And
think
it's
it's,
gonna be another month.
I think it's a decision we have to make tonight.
Okay, thank you.
And I think at this point,
Yeah,
nobody really could say where the water went, because obviously it's an abandoned home and they didn't even bother. So this break happened in May, and no one, or
We-
March, I'm sorry, March.
Or it could have went into a sump that ultimately goes into
They
the sewer.
never
Yeah.
reached out to us until just now.
I'm just
regarding
taking for
this.
granted that
Yeah.
it went down the basement.
So,
And I did have a conversation with the agent when this happened, and told her that, you know, it's gonna be a massive bill. So they knew it all along.
Yeah.
all right.
Is the house in good condition? Is there evidence of like a major flood?
It's,
Nobody's gained entry to the house, because it's not, it's in ownership, none of us can enter the house.
it's been abandoned for 4 or more years, so I don't think it's in very good shape.
But there is an owner, okay.
But there's an owner, it's not bank owned,
But-
it's not,
It's not
Yeah.
like it's.
so,
And you tried to mail it their other address?
I did,
all over 4 years,
Yeah.
well, 3 for me.
3 for you.
I'm inclined to go with John on this one.
Yeah, I am
too.
too.
Now he brings it up, I am too.
Yeah.
I am too.
Yeah, if you're not sure.
We
you have to
don't
assume
know.
it went into the sep-
And
sewer
they
system.
can, and there's no way that they even know, to be honest,
Yeah.
so,
They've had ample opportunities to sort it out, so.
Yeah, I think so too.
all right, so I think we just bring it to a
Turn
vote.
this, John.
Yeah.
Turn this.
So, I'll make the motion, that we are not going to relieve them of this bill, and they are responsible for the $8,395.08.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Thank you. All right, is there any, before we get into projects and consultants' reports, is there anything that any other commissioner would like to bring forward tonight?
The only thing I had for tonight was just, I did bring back to, the town some of what was, explained to me, but I wondered if it would be helpful again, just so I've got clarity on what the expectation of the commission is of the alternate. Because it sounds like it was different in the past.
What, different in the past?
My understanding was that they weren't able to vote before, and so I guess it would just be
Okay.
helpful to
So,
just get
I guess I
clarification
could-
what the alternate does,
I'll
so I know.
start, and if if I missed something or whatnot, correct me if I'm going straight. So in our negotiations back in, last year with the new IMA, it was decided, the town wanted more seats on the commission, because at that point, there was one town seat before. So back in July of last year, it was agreed to add a second voting seat for the town. And then the town asked for an alternate to ensure that you would always have the 2 voting seats. So the 2 voting seats get a stipend, but the alternate doesn't get a stipend from us. But an alternate, my understanding is why you asked for an alternate was to always have 2 votes, basically, for the town. So that means an alternate, when an alternate is sitting at the table, then you vote. That's the point of an alternate. If you weren't able to vote, there's no point in having an alternate then, because that was the whole reason behind the alternate, was to always ensure that once the second seat was given to the town, that you would always have the 2 voting seats there. So I'm not sure where it's changed, or that's always been the understanding, that the alternate votes when the alternate is sitting at the table. So in place of one of the appointed positions.
And that is laid out in the 2023 amendment, and I have it in front of me. It says here, the town supervisor may appoint an alternate commissioner. Whenever either one of the town commissioners is unable to attend a meeting of the commission, the alternate commissioner may attend such meeting in place of such absent town commissioner. And at that meeting, the alternate commissioner shall have the same powers, duties, and responsibilities as the absent town commissioner, including without limitation, power to vote on any matter presented to the commissioners at such meeting. So there's the voting authority.
Could I get a copy of that at one point,
Sure.
just to bring back to the town?
But that, you all got that. Yes, you all have that.
Oh, I'm sorry,
guys have
okay.
it.
I'll get, okay.
Well, no, it was provided to all board members. All town board members received it, but if you need it again, Christine can provide
Okay.
that. But the point of not a stipend going to an alternate, because then that would mean you had 3 voting seats to pay a stipend. So that's why the alternate doesn't get paid by the commission. Now, that's certainly something the town board can consider as to sharing a stipend when an alternate has to step in, but.
So that would be a town board decision, not
Yes, it wouldn't be the commission.
just
Right.
board to decide, because we send the voucher to you, so how do?
That's to pay the 2 stipends.
Right. So the town.
Because we
board
don't
can-
pay the alternate.
We could pass a resolution stating that if I'm not there, the alternate can get paid.
Yeah, for that evening. So if you took
But
what
that means the other
was,
person would not get paid.
right,
Ultimately, right?
right,
But that has to be a town board decision then, not a
correct,
sewer commission.
correct.
decision. Because it doesn't affect because you all don't have an alternate in the village.
Well, because we can't. All of
Right.
us sit on it.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So that would be a town board decision to,
And it doesn't have to be part of the IMA then?
no. The IMA states that you have 2 voting seats and that those voting seats get a stipend. Of course, James gets more because he's vice chair,
Correct.
and then you're the regular commissioner. But in lieu, when an alternate has to sit in, it's up to the town board if they want to fund the alternate for having to sit there and take the responsibilities of voting. But that's not for the commission to do.
Thanks,
That-
thanks, no, that helps with the clarification.
Okay.
I appreciate that, thank you.
Is there anything
Mhm.
more?
No, sounds good.
Okay. Okay. All right, Brian, you still with us?
I'm here.
Okay, so, and Jimbo, I mean, we rely on James if there's anything else, because these 2, or all 3 of these actually are all in the town. So if there's anything, I'll let Brian speak to what he knows about these, but certainly if you guys know something in addition, feel free. So Brian, you want to give us any updates regarding the woods?
Yeah, the
If there is
woods,
anything.
it's, I believe they got their CO. The issue is the Castagna pump station. The pumps that are in there now are not producing the flow, their design flow, actually anywhere close to their design flow. So with the ASPCA, looking at tie-in along with the woods and the existing Castagna flows, that is a concern. So we are looking to do something to replace those. We need a larger pump in there. And I got the cut sheet. I got some information from Rich, the operator, on them. And it looks like the correct pumps that were specified, but they just don't produce the flow. So we're looking into it.
Okay, so now if there's bigger pumps needed, who does that fall on? Does that fall on Castagna? Does that fall on, because the woods is a second phase of Castagna? Is it a shared thing with ASPCA? Because now they're not operating at full capacity now with just Castagna, and now you're adding the woods and ASPCA into that pump station. Am I understanding that correctly?
Correct, yeah.
So the pumps.
They're marginal. I think it's probably, it'll handle the woods somewhat, but it is marginal. Then once you add the ASPCA, you're going to have problems.
So that leaves me with who's responsible for those pumps and the replacement of those pumps? That's where I'm left with the
Yeah, that's
question.
a good question. Sorry, somebody say something?
No. Go ahead, Brian.
Okay, must be my own echo. Yeah, no, there's supposed to be a pump installed. I don't know who's responsible for the original installation. I assume it was the Castagna that put them in originally. So I just don't know whose responsibility falls in. And I'll continue to look at, the.
Well, I think,
Yeah.
if I may, I'll ask Danielle and Christine to look into who is responsible, because my concern is, when Castagna was built and the pumps went in, it's still Castagna. But, for instance, the woods was just dedicated to the sewer commission, and I'm wondering then, once it's dedicated, does that then make it our responsibility? But if the pumps aren't working and
The question I have is there a way to see if the pumps that are installed are the ones that were designed by LaBelle to be in there?
Yeah, they were spec properly.
Were they spec properly?
I think that's what he just said, they were spec'd correctly, but they're not operating at full capacity?
Yeah, this
Oh, they're
the
not the
general,
right size.
it wasn't, I was with the firm that did the design for
Right.
Castagna. It wasn't LaBelle, they reviewed it, I believe. There's a general pump selection, little table on a drawing saying, yeah, it says pump. But I don't have hard design data, but I do have a flow and a head, and they are not producing the flow. Not place said. They're supposed to be anywhere from 50 to 75 gallons a minute, and the one's doing 12-ish or so, and I think the other one's doing like 22 at peak. So that's that's the order of magnitude we're talking here.
I guess my question is it possible they did, I hate to say it intentionally, but, did they do like a bait and switch? Did they put a smaller pump in there, or is that the pump that it was designed for, that it was called for?
He doesn't
Yeah,
have that.
long story short, that's what I'm looking into.
Okay.
And this could be something as simple. I did get the nameplate off the pump, the actual serial number, model number. It could be, I don't want to give you hopes up here, but it could be something as simple as just swapping out an impeller.
Yeah.
They are a larger pump. They should be producing more than they are, and I will discuss with the operator tomorrow. I would like to just tie in a pressure gauge just to make sure we don't have some kind of restriction in the force main, which I don't think we do, but I just like to totally rule that out to make sure we're not pumping against some artificial head or blockage in the line.
So Brian, what about the engineer for Castagna? And I'm assuming when I say Castagna, maybe you can help me out. Is that including the woods, or is the woods totally separate from Castagna? I'm a little lost with that one.
I mean, the woods is.
Is phase
separate-
two.
Is phase two,
But is it
correct.
under the same
Phase two,
people?
yeah.
Like, the engineer, would the engineer be the same for Castagna phase one and the woods phase two?
I believe so.
Okay, so,
It's okay, yeah,
It's a whole different company.
that's my.
I'm not sure, I don't, yeah, we can,
if we
we
could,
should probably find out for sure.
because Brian, so you have not spoken to the engineer from the
No,
Castagna
I
woods?
got all the design stuff from Labella,
Okay.
when they did the review, I assume on behalf of the PJSC.
Okay,
But I have not spoken to the actual engineer.
all right, so if you guys could get that to us so that Brian can talk engineer to engineer, because,
Because it might be different, I'll follow.
yeah, and I think,
And I know it's.
I think if it's different, I think we're gonna need both.
Exactly.
Because Castagna's the one that put them in, and now the Woods is, so I think it probably is gonna be best if they are the same engineer, that we have both of them.
And the last I knew, they were only at 20% capacity, so I don't know,
Okay.
so I don't know where they are.
Oh, you mean as far as flow?
No, rental.
Oh, rental,
Yeah, they-
in the woods?
in the woods.
Ooh.
So maybe it's more than that. That was a month ago, we were there for the fire department, so.
But that's a problem if the pumps aren't working.
Were the pumps
They're
ever working,
online. They're
or were they
definitely
not
online.
monitored before?
They're definitely online, there's definitely people living there. Like I say, a month ago, there was 10 to 15, and they had more coming in, residents. The apartments were
I
rented.
don't know. I don't know. All right, so let's start with getting the engineers and having Brian talk to the engineer and see where we're at, and probably bringing in the engineer from Labella, who's John Zarowski now, but it was Dan Stone, who retired. So,
Yeah.
just to make it even messier.
I have a question for Brian, though. In the worst case, can those pumps be used in other pump stations?
But again, until we can determine whose ownership and everything.
Yeah, well,
so,
I just said
you
in the
know,
worst case. I
Yeah.
mean, is it something that can be retrofitted?
We'll have to see.
Yeah, I could talk to the operators. I don't know if that's the standard. Yeah, I don't know if those pumps are, they have they can fit in other places with the way the base elbows are and the rails and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I got to look into that.
Okay.
We always have a need for a pump.
Yeah, so that's your concern with the woods. Is there anything else regarding ASPCA?
Yeah, I do have, not to pile on here, but I do have a kind of concern, and it relates to the same pump station, Castagna.
Yep,
They did propose, going through that valve vault, tying into the existing drain line for the valve vault, that goes back from the valve vault to the wet well. And the way that pump station's set up, the way the floats are, there is, it is just normal stuff, guys. There's kind of a, layer of grease that starts to accumulate. It's right at that level. I do have concerns with reutilizing that drain line to go backwards. There is a check valve there. There's just some concerns I have about, some flow gets blocked from the ASPCA. It's just going to go in that valve vault and fill up and overflow if there's a problem. I would much rather see it if they could just excavate, minor excavate along the side of that valve vault, core drill right into the wet well with their line, put a clean out there just to give us some protection. They could put a clean out that goes both ways to, go either cross the road or the other way, just if something does come down, block it up. But I would much prefer to see a direct core right to that wet well. I think it'll be much less headaches down in the future.
okay, and are you able to talk to the engineer from ASPCA to present that
Yeah.
and get them
Yeah.
on board with that change?
Yeah, I got something kind of drawn up and written up here, so,
Okay,
if you want to go over, I can go over with you for, anybody first from the PJSC here, but I'm okay to send it to them.
okay. Does anybody, are we okay with him sending?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah.
I certainly won't know. Okay, Brian, I would just say go ahead with that then and coordinate with that
Okay.
engineer and just let us know if there's an issue that needs to be brought back to us. For that
I'll
one.
let- yeah, it'll be.
And just CC.
There'll probably be a little resistance. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. There'll probably be some resistance, but I'll push.
Okay. And then if it has to come back here, then they have to come back here and come to one of our sewer meetings to discuss it further.
Yep, correct.
Just CC Christine on anything that's being sent then, and then that way the office has a file of everything.
Yep.
Okay. Anybody have any questions regarding that? Okay. And then we have the shed house that is now, so from my understanding, and this was before I was chair of the sewer commission, this was back in 2019 when Dan Peters was the chair and Dan Stone was the engineer. They had requested a tie-in to our sewer. At that time, equipment had been purchased, and then they never did it. So they now just recently reached out to us wanting to do that tie-in now, and so now we're just trying for everyone to get up to speed. Rich, I believe you went out to take a look at what they had purchased. Were you able to talk to Brian about that?
I sent pictures to Brian. I talked to Brian on the phone about.
I'm sorry, Rich, do you mind, because no one's gonna hear you, yeah, there's a speaker right there.
I feel important now.
Yeah, there you go.
I talked to Brian today, and I
Okay.
sent the email out with the pictures. What I found that is he purchased all E1 equipment. The plans slightly changed from what he handed us to what his intentions are, which I explained to Brian what that was. He bought all good equipment,
Okay,
so again, that's going to be up to you guys. It's all there, the controls are there. It's all E1 stuff which we use here in the village.
okay,
So I'm really comfortable with what he's got.
but he's changing the plan from 2019.
The plan that he sent us showed the pump station in the garage. It's not going to be in the garage, it's going to be outside of the garage.
Okay,
And it didn't show where the controls are going to be and things like that, which
Okay.
is something that Brian would have to, you guys would have to
well,
talk
we
to
had
him.
asked them to submit a plan to us because we didn't really have much here from when they had made these arrangements in 2019. So that seems like we're warranted in having a plan submitted by
An
them to
updated plan or
understand all of
something,
that.
yes.
Okay, so that's our next step then, is to go back and, now that you've checked the equipment, it's the appropriate equipment that they had purchased. So now we just gotta work out the plan.
Right, I told him that we would have a meeting with him and discuss what his next step is.
Okay, all right, so we'll have Christine set that up, find out Brian's schedule to be on the phone. Brian, is that something you can just do over the phone, correct?
Yeah, or next time I'm, in the area.
Okay, all right,
Yeah, if they want to do it in person.
okay, all right, we'll figure that out.
Yeah. So I guess, Rich said, I think I heard me a little quiet there, but they submitted kind of an illegal, right? They went with the E1, which is a well-known, they're all over the place, they're ubiquitous. So that's not an issue. It's just that they're relocating it to the outside. So I guess we just gotta make sure, the cap on it's watertight, stuff like that. I don't know, Rich, I know you said they had a control panel there. I just don't know if it has an alarm on it. I don't have any, I don't have a picture of the control panel here.
It has alarms or
So
doesn't?
it's just some things.
It has the alarm, and I sent you the model number in the box. So everything is there.
Okay, that's that one picture maybe. Okay, I'll look up these things.
All right, so-
Pictures of boxes here, I'll look it up. Yeah.
So, Brian, talk to Rich. Once you feel you have the list of concerns or questions that you have, then we'll set up the meeting with you, the landowner, Rich, to work out the details of it. And then we'll have to set the escrow for that project too. So, is that all right, Brian?
Yes, that's fine. I think this is gonna be pretty straightforward.
All right, it's just getting the details.
Getting everybody on the same page.
Devil's
yeah.
in the
Getting
details.
everybody on the same page, yeah.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Brian. Anybody have any questions
Yep.
regarding the shed house?
Nope.
Okay, all right. Danielle, is there anything else that,
I don't think at this time.
okay. All right, thank you. Brian, do you have anything else?
No, just, I don't want to prolong it here too much. I know it's going on here a little bit. Just real quick, we're just trying to do our last selection phase for the I-9 study.
We haven't had any rain.
This time of year. It's been very dry, so we're just kind of, just waiting here. So, but,
Okay.
that's kind of it. I know rural water's coming out the week of the 21st, I believe, so hopefully
Yes.
they'll have something to find. But yeah, we're just kind of on hold with that until we get some weather here, so.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yep.
Rich?
I can get used to this. Okay.
So everybody has his report, his monthly report in your packet?
I'll start with last September's daily average flow was 400,000 gallons a day. This September, we are at 205,000 gallons a day.
Can you give me the first number? I'm sorry, say that again?
400?
400,000. So just so you guys can understand, the rain has a lot to do with
Yeah.
things. It's very dry.
So what was it now, 200 and what?
205,000.
Okay. Oh, yeah, help if I crack it open, huh? Okay.
So this month, H2O hired a new employee to help us out at the plant, which we are training him to operate the plant and do his procedures. We did some maintenance at the main pump station. We had a piece of equipment called the auger, which brings the rags up and puts them in a little dumpster, was tripping out on high amps. It was as simple as tightening up all the screws on the contactor so we wouldn't have to call in an engineer or an electrician. We just took the initiative of checking the amps and tightening things up so we didn't have to have an electrician come in. That's all taken care of. We test ran all the backup generators at the pump stations except for Green Lawn, which we still have an issue with. Shrek came out last week to install a new part in it, and he called me up and said he can't do it there. He needs to bring it back to his shop. So I talked to Jimmy, and Jimmy's going to come over with the backhoe either Monday or Tuesday. We're going to lift it up and put it in back of my truck, and I'm going to take it to H.A. Shrek so he can work on it. And he did say it was no cost to us just because it's under warranty.
Okay,
It's just the inconvenience for us.
yeah.
We now have a portable backup generator that is running and functioning. Thank you guys for that. I did run it today. I put a new outlet on it so we could, if we had a water break or a sewer backup, we could take it to the site and plug in lights or a vacuum cleaner or whatever you want. So that's all up and running. So if we do have problems at Green Lawn, we can take this unit over there and pump down the pump station.
Because we do have an alarm, so
If we
should
have an
something
alarm.
happen when that generator's not sitting there, an alarm will go off so that you can get the portable out there.
Yes, yes. And we talked about having an electrician meet me over there with the generator. I did check all the power supply, and I'm getting all power, so I just need the electrician there for the rotation to make sure the wires are set up the right way.
For Green Lawn?
So,
For Green Lawn?
excuse me?
For Green Lawn?
For Green Lawn or any of the pump stations we could take it to.
Oh, you're talking about the
The
portable?
portable one, yes.
Yeah, we got lost there a second. Okay, got it.
We put some risers in on 22 in front of Trinity Pawling. The manhole lid was roughly 12 inches down off the grade of the grass along 22. So we put risers in to lift it up, which is going to help with pooling of water
Correct.
going into the manhole.
Yep.
So we did that. We had, up at the headworks, the main part of the plant where the flow comes in, we have a fresh air vent motor that sucks out the gases. And that motor was seized up. We went and we ordered one, and we're getting ready to put that in. We're working on the VFDs, Brian, and we're waiting for a quote or some more insight from Owens Electric on switching around VFDs because it's in a bad environment, it's very moist, and it's not good for the VFDs. And I think that's it.
Thank you. Any questions for Rich?
Just that I spoke with Auctions International, the auction company. They're gonna reach out to Jim Greggs, and Jim will let you know when they're coming.
Okay, good,
This
because,
way, we're gonna do the ladder, the 2 generators, and I think a mower, correct?
and Christine gave me the information for the measurements of the ladder. I found some O&M books for the Onan generators that are sitting there for auction.
Okay.
And then we have the lawn mower. And I think, you know, if we can make some money on it, we could spend some money at the plant.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Rich.
Brian, that made me think of, oops, I'm sorry. Made me think of something when you were talking about rags. I know that we have a rag problem from Cedar Valley. I know we have a rag problem from Castagna. Now that we're talking about ASPCA coming on, I don't know that we would have a rag problem there, but I'm now also thinking, what about all the fur that might be coming through there, and whether that's going to be a problem? Is there some kind of a screening mechanism or something to reduce any issues? I don't know.
There is.
Okay. All right.
There's supposed to be a trap on the second tank. But when they're saying that they have recovery systems within the facility that won't allow the fur to go down in the drains.
Okay.
But there is a filter on the tank, the primary tank up on the hill that's
Okay.
supposed to capture it. But but if we see hair coming in, we're gonna say,
They're gonna have to do something
they're
else.
gonna have
then.
to address it.
Yeah, okay, all right. Well, stay tuned on that, I guess. All right, so is there anything else from anybody?
Just, I did text Joanne Daly while we were here. I didn't know if she would get back to me. Just regarding the question about the engineer. It is the same engineer at the
For both
Woods.
Castagna and
Yeah,
Woods?
and his name is Gerard Schwar, SCH, yeah, WABE.
Do you have his information?
I didn't want to say it because I wasn't positive.
Yeah, she got back. to me.
Okay, thank you, Connie.
Of course.
Have you given it to Brian, or?
I can give it to her.
Yeah,
It's-
so-
It's on all of the emails and things.
Okay.
From previously, but I'll certainly send over.
Brian, Christine, will make sure that you have the engineer for Castagna and the Woods information, contact
Okay.
information, okay?
I appreciate it, thank you.
Great.
All right, so if nothing else, can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Thank you, everyone.